On a long enough timeline, we are all gonna have duds. Whether it's going over to talk to someone and they reject you, whether it's trying something new in your career, creating something new, we are going to have things that don't work out. And that's true of everybody. The best of the best in the world experience duds. You're a Michael Jackson fan? Do you remember him for Heartbreaker? No, you probably don't even know that song. But you remember him for Billie Jean or Dirty Diana or Man in the Mirror. We remember people for their highlights, but we don't create the highlights unless we're willing to just keep attempting things, keep trying, keep screwing up, doing things that don't work out so that eventually we can make things that do work out. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a career path, whether it's something that you create in the world, we have to be prepared to have the duds so that we can have the highlights. Think of a day that's going to be a highlight in your love life. Say your wedding day. Do you think on your wedding day, when you are getting married to the love of your life, that you're going to be thinking for 1 second about that guy you went on a date with once that never called you? Of course not. And this week, when you go out and you talk to some guy and he gives you a cold reaction, you get rejected, whatever, this person is going to be nothing to you later on. Every guy who's ever rejected you, every guy who never called you back, every guy who kept you casual instead of committing to you, none of them are going to matter. We turn the extras in our lives into the protagonists. And these people aren't the leading roles. They literally, in the movie of our life, won't even be listed by name in the end credits. They'll be listed as barista number 2. The person you fall madly in love with, who falls madly in love with you, that you spend the rest of your life with, that's a leading role. The guy who's rejecting you today or not texting you back right now, that's an extra. And what we have to do is create enough moments, take enough risks, create enough opportunities for interesting and special things to happen, and recognize that a lot of those moments along the way are going to produce duds. But we don't get the highlights if we're trying to avoid the duds. And before you go, if you have been watching this video and you realize that you have been coasting in your life and in the process losing the potential highlights, I have my live retreat coming up in October of this year. That's 5.5 days where we get together and we work on your life. If you want to come and work with me in person and have a 5.5 day transformative coaching experience, click this link and I will see you there. And remember, if logistically it's difficult for you to make my live retreat, but you still want to get the program, you still want the information, I have the at-home version too. Both are at this link. Check it out, and I will see you in next week's video. You know how most sentences start when I start talking to women? Matt, let me tell you about this one guy. No, there isn't one guy. There's 3.5 billion guys. When a woman comes to me and starts talking about this guy, there's this guy at work that I really like, that I've been thinking about for a long time, and we've been friends for a long time, and sometimes we flirt, but not really, but just no more of this guy. If you're talking about it now, the time was probably before now to have done something. In fact, it definitely was. That's why you can go out to a party where you're with a bunch of people and this guy, and you've been trying to work on him for months, and all of a sudden some other woman comes along and gets him in one night, and you go, oh my God, I've been nice to him for months, I've been doing things for him, I've been lovely to him, I've been trying to flirt with him, little banterous moments, little moments of connection, and all of a sudden she comes in and does more in a night than I could do in 6 months or 5 years. We see attraction the wrong way. People are constantly asking, how do I get this one guy attracted? This one guy, instead of saying, how can I become attractive? How can I become attractive? Not just to one guy, but to guys. I get it. We all have crushes. We've all had crushes. I think about school and I think about that woman that I was attracted to, or I should say that girl that I was attracted to, and how it was just crushing me inside to think about this person. This person seemed so amazing, and because she was the only person that I thought about, she'd become more amazing by the day. See, I want to tell you something. That guy that you keep thinking about, he becomes more amazing every day because you're thinking about him all the time and no one else. And when you think about someone, you're investing in them on an internal level, and when you're investing in them, they become more attractive because we value what we invest in. And when you've invested all of that thought and all of that energy and all of that hope into one person, the stakes get so high that you stop being yourself around them and you stop doing the things that could actually get them attracted, like just being a great person, like by having fun, being out of your head, being spontaneous, not giving a damn about the result. But we don't do that when they become that one guy. When I think back to those girls that I had crushes on, those people never wanted me. If they said, Matt, can you hold this for me? I'd be like, she likes me. She wants me. She's changed her mind. She's finally noticed me. But no, she just noticed that I was a guy who would do anything for her because my standards for self-respect was so low that I'd do anything to get her to like me. Which, by the way, we convince ourselves comes from this beautiful place of, oh, I would do anything for them because I like them so much. No, we'd do anything for them because we want them to like us so much. And when they sense that we'll do anything to get them to like us, their respect level goes down and their attraction goes down with it. I could give you some tips for getting a guy attracted. Of course I could. I've done it in many videos. And there's a good chance that we might be able to get that one guy attracted or that one person who's a friend to become something more. But the ultimate remedy is to go out there and focus on becoming an attractive person. And when you're out there meeting many more men, you'll realize that there are incredible people outside of the one person that you keep focusing on. This scarcity mindset that has us focusing on one person and continuously beating ourselves up in this masochistic fashion because they don't like us and we're not prepared to go and take a risk to look elsewhere. It's crazy. Let me tell you something that's really going to attract this guy. When he sees that you're not focused on impressing him, when he sees that you're building a great life, when he sees that you're an attractive person because you don't give a damn and you're more interested in building yourself and growing and learning than you are in trying to get him to like you. And what's more, when he sees that other guys are interested in you, all of a sudden, you're going to get attraction from him like never before. The next time we meet, I want to hear about the amazing experiences you're having. I want to hear about the places you're going, the things you've learned, and all of the incredible people that you're meeting. I don't just want to hear an endless story about one person and this insular part of your life that actually separates you from all of the incredible wonders that there are out there to discover. Take care, my friends. I'll see you soon. By the way, if you haven't been to my Facebook yet and you want to stay up to date with everything that we're doing, go there now. We'll link it up in the box on this video. Go check it out. I have videos, I have articles, I have blogs from my brother. He writes one every week. That's like a home for all of this content. If you like the videos here and you want more of them, go there and you'll get far more than you even thought we did. I'll see you there. They are telling you today, I am going to hurt you. The difference is the successful people cut them off early. Yeah. The moment they see a red flag, they're out of there.
And she said, when people show you who they are, believe them. They know themselves much better than you do.
If someone tells you, I'm not sure I'm ready, then you have to do some calculations. You have to say, okay, I like this person. They're saying they're not sure I'm ready. That's an immediate giant red flag. It's not them saying, by the way, I'm not sure I know you well enough yet. That's fine. Let's get to know each other better then. Yeah. If they're saying, I'm not sure I'm ready for a relationship, that is a giant red flag. They are telling you today, I am going to hurt you. In case you didn't hear, I am going to hurt you. They're telling you to your face that you are going to get your heart broken here. So you have to make a decision with that. Do I want to continue to invest in someone who says they're not sure they're ready for a relationship? Do you really want to do that? Now, you may say if you're 25 and you're like, well, whatever. Yeah. Then I'm just going to have fun and we'll see where this goes. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging that.
Right.
But if you find yourself at a stage in your life where you know you are ready for something real and you're excited about that, and you've got someone in front of you who isn't just assessing whether you're right for them, but is assessing whether a relationship is even exciting to them, why get into that situation? Why bother? Why spend the time? When someone says, I'm in, that's a green light. When we find that the more energy we put into someone, the more we get back, that's a green light. And too often, what I've seen over 15 years of doing this now in people's love lives is that they persist on a red light. These days, I really start to see it more in terms of just flow. Like, oh, I'm this river that's just moving, right? I'm always just moving forward. And along the way, I sometimes hit a rock. And instead of personalizing the rock and what the rock thinks of the water, I instead just see it as a rock. I might actually just say, well, okay, this is representing a stop right now. I'm going to move around this. That distinction, although it's a very, very simple one when you hear it, is one that a lot of us aren't making emotionally. We're not making it in our behaviors. We are exhausting ourselves trying to move on a red light. In the process, we end up resenting the person. We end up resenting how much time we're losing, how much energy was wasted, and how much pain was created. When someone says that they're not ready for a relationship, that's not just a red flag about that person. It's a green light in another direction. It's a signal that you should take your persistence, take your energy, take the drive to find a love that is worthy of your investment and direct that in more productive ways to people that actually have potential. Because the difference between different types of women who are successful and not successful in dating is not that one group avoids dating all of the wrong men and the other one dates only bad men. Everyone dates the wrong men, right? Anyone is capable of going on a bad date. The difference is the successful people cut them off early. Yeah. The moment they see a red flag, they're out of there. But that requires a significant level of internal confidence because you've got to know you're worth more than that. So I once heard a phrase, relationships often end the way they began. Meaning, whatever ends a relationship, you could have seen in week one if you were paying attention, but you chose to ignore it. I think you're a smart woman, and I don't believe for 1 second that those men became the devil 6 months into the relationship. I think you saw the stuff that was wrong early on and chose to ignore it. So I don't think your problem is with finding great men. I think your problem is a battle with yourself. The next time you meet a guy who is bad for you, you have to be strong enough to not start investing more in that guy just because it's the devil you know and it's harder to go out and meet someone new. Does that make sense?
Preach, brother! Excuse me, Hussey!
Sorry to interrupt the video, but if you're watching this and your love life is a priority for you this year, you want to meet your person, I have a free training called Dating with Results that is going to help you do that, and you can watch it right now. All you need to do to sign up is go to datingwithresults.com. I'll see you over there, and now let's get back to the video. There is a quite well-known Maya Angelou quote that struck me as being extraordinarily important when it comes to relationships. She was once famously speaking to Oprah, and she said, "When people show you who they are, believe them. They know themselves much better than you do." And she was referring to those moments where people say, I'm a selfish person. I'm not a kind person. I don't think of other people a lot. You know, when people, I'm a mean person. When people say those things and we shrug them off.
I've had that on first dates. I've had people go like, I'm just really mean. I can just be so nasty.
When someone tells us, I'm a mean person, I'm selfish, I'm unkind, I don't think of other people, I'm not looking for something. When we ignore that, it's at our own peril. Because they're telling us something about themselves. And we have to assume they have no reason to lie to me right now.
Yeah.
Right?
So
If someone says they're jealous, they don't surprise you by never being jealous. You go, oh, you said you were jealous, but you're never
Right.
jealous.
they know themselves much better than you do.
So when people say things like that, what's going on that we don't heed their warning? Why don't we take that at face value?
It's this idea that our job, when we feel something intensely for somebody, is to just keep loving them. But you don't just have one job in life. Loving someone or showing love, giving love in life is only one of our jobs. The other job is to protect ourselves. In a boxing ring, what does the ref say at the beginning of every fight? There's the same line that gets said from every boxing referee in every fight that ever happens. Looks at both boxers and says, protect yourself for all times. When, at a certain point in a fight, a referee determines that one of the fighters is no longer capable of protecting themselves because they're punch drunk, they're not putting their arms up anymore, they're not guarding punches, they are just taking a beating that's putting them in genuine peril, genuine danger, and could be causing serious long-term harm, that referee stops the fight. Protect yourself at all times. And when the fighter can no longer protect themselves, they stop the fight. The problem in love is that there is no referee that comes along and stops the fight if you're no longer protecting yourself. Your job is to be that referee. Your job is to be both the fighter and the referee in that fight. And if you get to a point where you can no longer protect yourself, if you get to a point where you realize, I'm just taking a beating, emotionally, I'm spiritually, my soul is taking a beating in this relationship, your job is to stop the fight and remove yourself from the ring.
If you want to know someone's intentions, watch their actions, not their words, unless what they're telling you is difficult for them to say. When we're trying to make any kind of a sale in life, we want to say all of the things that are going to help us make that sale. If, in the course of that sales presentation, someone tells you something undesirable, unwelcome, something that could cost them the sale, what they're saying in that moment should be given particular attention. In that case, we shouldn't be blindly looking at their actions and what they invest in us. We should be paying attention to the small print. I think of it being like that. It's like a commercial for a relationship where someone is walking you through the scenes. Here's us going to a movie. Here's us in a park having a picnic. Here's a moment where I confide in you with something vulnerable, and aren't we connected in this moment? And then after all of these relationship-esque scenes that make you feel so invested comes a small print where someone says,
warning, this romance comes without a title. We'll never call you girlfriend, just not ready for a relationship and not looking for anything serious right now.
that's the small print. Because when somebody is telling you, I don't want anything serious, amidst doing all of the right things, or they're telling you, I don't want a relationship, even though they're behaving as if you're already in a relationship, what they're saying requires effort to say. It may sabotage the very attention they are trying to get. That means it was inconvenient for them to say. And if it was inconvenient for them to say, if it was something that could cost them the sale, then it's something that should be given extra attention over and above their actions.
Last week, Jameson and I had a little dalliance with the 50 Shades Darker trailer.
Tell me what he has that we like. Besides money, muscles.
Ooh, drummer. We spoofed it. Here's what you thought of it. Alicia says, oh, here goes Mr. Hussey, aka Mr. Vanilla, making fun of the 50 Shades again. Shake my head. Wait, so is she saying vanilla's a bad thing?
Yeah, like simple vanilla is boring in bed.
Or just it's simple, doesn't make it boring.
I'll be honest, Matt, I've never seen you this defensive about a comment.
Defensive how? You haven't seen me in bed. No one has. Just because it's simple doesn't make it boring. Oh. Oh, is it cold in here or is it just my penis? And Christina says, I absolutely adore everything you do, Matthew Hussey, but let us women have our fantasies. What's so wrong with that? Well, Christina, nothing, actually. But I think it's worth addressing that there are two fantasies going on in this movie. One is the transgressive BDSM, out of the ordinary sexual acts that many of us don't vocalize in our everyday life, or maybe even fantasies sexually that we don't talk about with our partner, which is equally sad, I think. The second fantasy is one that is potentially more harmful in real life. And in the context of what we talk about every week, I think it's worth indulging. And that fantasy is the fantasy of changing somebody. This relationship that is depicted in 50 Shades is one between a woman who wants something the guy is not prepared to give and is going out of her way to invest her time and energy into changing him. Yes, she may be curious about the sexual acts that he's offering, but her curiosity about transgressive sex is his obsession. It's not her obsession. And the reason she indulges it to the extent that she does, unless you feel like I've got this wrong, is that she wants more with him. There is literally a moment in the first movie where Christian has talked about all of the things that he won't do. He won't sleep in the same bed as her. He won't go on dates with her. He won't have a normal romantic relationship. And she justifiably says to him, well, what do I get out of this? To which he replies, you get me. Perhaps one of the most narcissistic responses someone can possibly give. Saying on one hand, I will meet none of your needs. And on the other hand, I want you to meet all of my needs and demands. I don't want to seem like on the other side, I'm siding with all of the people that suggest that this kind of sex is wrong. Because if two people go into that thinking this is horny, this is fun, whatever, I don't care about that. In fact, I would go as far as to say that if she didn't want to do any of that stuff with him, she would be the wrong person for him. See, a great relationship is one where Christian Grey meets Anastasia and says, hey, I'm into lots of weird, kinky shit. Are you up for it? And she says, yeah, I am. By the way, I'm into romance and going to see movies and sleeping in the same bed and having an intimate, emotional relationship. Are you okay with that? And he says, yeah, that sounds great. And then they have an amazing relationship where they meet each other's needs. If either one of them can't meet that criteria for each other, they're probably the wrong person. And this isn't me bashing 50 Shades, it's entertainment. What I'm concerned about is the real life version of this that people play out, men and women alike. They go into things compromising on their deepest needs and desires and standards just because they want the person in front of them. So for Anastasia, this entire relationship is predicated on her fantasy that this man will change to become what she wants, which is just about the most dangerous bet anyone can make in a relationship. I call this bet the one-day wager. The one-day wager. Trading in your time, energy, emotions, and intimacy on the hope that the person you're giving it to will one day become what you want them to be. I'm not saying that the one-day wager is wrong, but it is really, really, really risky. Everybody has a story of somebody they know that held out for somebody to change a trait about themselves or make a bigger commitment, marry them, suddenly want kids, whatever it might be, who are now in despair, depression, really tumultuous places internally because they feel like they gave so much time to somebody who never changed. And if they'd have paid attention to the warning signs along the way, they realized they could have seen that for themselves. Now, this isn't to say that people never change, because they do. I know that people change because I watch them change all the time as a result of the advice that we give, as a result of the inspiration that people draw from our material. I see these changes day in, day out. But that's somebody who is motivated internally to change. That's somebody who's made a decision that they want to change. There is a difference between having the motivation to change and the person we're with making a decision and having the motivation to change. And I'm going to leave you with a line right now that is going to sum up that distinction. Consider how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll understand what little chance you have in trying to change others. That is a profoundly damning quote when it comes to hoping that the person we are in a relationship with will change just because we think it's important they change. Now, it's a different thing if someone we love recognizes that we really want them to change, and as a result of their love for us decides fundamentally that it is paramount to them that they change. But until it becomes paramount to them and not just paramount to you, that change will only be momentary. It will not last if it comes at all. Now, if you're with someone right now and you want to make that bet, you want to make the one-day wager, my promise to you is that you will never, ever have any judgment from me. When it comes to my own life, it is just as hard for me to make those difficult decisions as it is for you. So please never ever think that I'm coming from a righteous place. I'll never judge you for it. But if you decide, maybe as a result of watching this video, that the risk is too high and that you need to take the other path, then I would like to encourage you down that other path so that you can start making progress to a world of more choice, where you realize that that bet, that wager, is not the only game in town. It is not your only option. There are many other options, wonderful options, better options down this path where the stakes will be so much lower and the payoff so much higher. Dating is hard, isn't it? It's confusing, it can be stressful, it can be exhausting, it can be fruitless and lead to burnout. Well, I want to fix those things for you because finding love is a beautiful thing and it's a deeply human need that we have that is not going away regardless of how frustrated we get with the dating process. So if you want to escape the horrible dramas of modern day dating and actually just find the love that you're looking for, I have a free training I did called Dating with Results, where you can just give me 1 hour of your time. It's completely free, and I will show you the roadmap for finding love in your life today. This year, quicker than if you didn't watch this. You can find it right now for free at datingwithresults.com. I'll see you over there. In this video, I want to talk about what you can do to feel better after a string of disappointing dating experiences. Maybe you're feeling a little hopeless right now. Maybe you feel like you've just taken one too many knocks and it makes you want to throw in the towel altogether in your love life. Well, I'm going to give you 10 pieces of advice in this video that I have learned and accumulated over the years of doing this that I think are going to help you feel a little better over the time that it takes to watch this. I'm Matthew Hussey, by the way. If you're new to this channel, thank you for being here. I released this new book, Love Life, this year. If you haven't got it yet, grab a copy. And if you haven't yet tried Matthew AI and you want to ask me a specific question about your love life, go to askmh.com and give it a try. Okay, let's jump in. Firstly, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you've been having a hard time in this area of your life. It is one of the most painful experiences when we want to find love and we can't seem to find it anywhere. Not only that, but it feels really, really difficult to even find a reason to hope
It feels like we've never been further from meeting the right person for us. And with every new knock, it just confirms this suspicion we have that it's never going to happen for us. So let's dive right into these 10 pieces of advice, this wisdom that I have discovered over the years for people going through this. The first one is to realize you are not alone. It can be a very isolating experience to feel like nothing's happening in our love life, or we keep getting heartbroken, we keep getting rejected. But the reality is we are in very good company if we're finding it challenging to meet our person. One of the most painful things about not meeting someone or struggling to meet someone is the story we end up telling ourselves about that situation. That I am not good enough, that I'm never going to find someone, that I'm not worthy, that it's easy for everyone else and hard for me. But none of those stories are necessarily true. Other people in great numbers are having the same difficulty as you finding love. And when we recognize that, it doesn't take away one part of the difficulty, which is that we want to find love and we haven't found it. But it does take away that added sting that is, this is personal to me. When we depersonalize it, we lower the intensity of that pain. Number 2, recognize that it's actually okay and normal for it to be hard to find love. We are looking for a roommate for the rest of our lives. This is not just finding a new friend where you can have a friend that's great in some ways, not in others, in the ways that that friend doesn't quite meet our needs or isn't right for multiple situations. You can go, well, I won't see that friend in this context. I'll find another friend for that. You can have many friends. But for those people who want a monogamous relationship, you can only have one partner. And when you have one partner, we naturally expect more from that partner than we do from any one of our friends. Now, we could take that too far sometimes. Esther Perel, in a recent interview with me, talked about the fact that she did think we took it too far, that we expect way too many things from one person that we should be getting from an entire community of friends and partners and family. But even with that logic in mind, we are likely to still expect more from this person that we're going to spend more time with than probably anyone else in our lives. So if it's hard, tell yourself that's normal. Number 3, remember, you only need one. Even in a sea of disappointments, of rejections, of people who don't get you or you don't connect with, you only need one person who does get you, who does want a relationship. And when you find that person, none of the others will matter. It is this weird thing that when we are in the middle of a string of bad dates or heartbreaks with people who didn't want the same things we did, or coming off the back of a difficult relationship or a really wounding situation where someone has rejected us, it can feel like it all matters so much. But what's bizarre and wonderful is that the moment you meet the right person for you and it works, none of the rest of it matters at all. All of a sudden, all of these things that felt like they mattered so much completely dissolve. All that matters at that point is, oh, I found my person. So it's normal to feel like all of this matters so much, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the rejections. But know that there is also for you likely to be a failure of perspective right now, where what you can't see is just how little any of this is going to matter when you meet the right person for you. Number 4, don't turn your current disappointments into a story about how amazing your ex was. This is a really easy trap to fall into. Every disappointing date makes your ex seem better and better. You start thinking about this person that maybe broke up with you a year ago or that it didn't work out with. And the story becomes more romantic all the time. Every time someone is disappointing, every time you don't connect with someone or you feel no chemistry or you go on a date and the person's just weird, you think, my ex was so great. This is normal, but it doesn't make it true. Just because you're in front of someone disappointing, it doesn't make your ex better than they really were. Connect to the ways that your ex was disappointing. Because I promise you, there were some important ways. Even if the ultimate way your ex was disappointing was that they left, that they didn't choose you. If you're telling yourself they were perfect except for the fact that they didn't choose me, well, then they weren't perfect. Your ideal person is the person that is sat in front of you, is wonderful, and chooses you. Here's what you need to remember. There is someone better for you coming. Don't allow yourself to be distracted from that future by letting the disappointing person in the present make you go back into your past. Number 5, when you're out there looking for love, don't compare someone new to history. When we meet someone for the first time, we are forming an initial impression based on knowing very little about them. And in the same way that we are doing our best to convey to them how great we are and what wonderful qualities we have, and some sense try to convey what an amazing partner we would be if they were to choose us, someone else is trying to do the same thing. They're trying to show us what kind of person they are in life, as a friend, as a partner, as a lover, as someone who can be relied on or trusted in. They're trying to give you a sense of their deeper qualities, which are very hard to communicate on date one. It's a really terribly difficult exercise for both parties involved. And what happens when we're feeling frustrated in our love lives, when we're feeling a little hopeless and disappointed, we're very quick to compare this facade that we're seeing right now, not because someone's doing anything wrong, but they're just doing their best with their first impression, to an entire history that we have with somebody else. It's a bit like when we move somewhere and we meet a couple of new friends and we start to get to know people and we say, you know, they're great, but they're just not like my friends back home. Of course they're not. You don't have 20 years of history with these people. Your friends back home have been through ups and downs with you. You've got all these memories together. You've been through hard times together. You've shown up for each other in myriad situations. So there's no way that the new friend can compare with the history of the old friend. And the same is true in our love life. A brand new person coming into our life cannot compare with the history that we have had with an ex, even when that ex wasn't good for us. They're still competing with all of that history, with all of that sentimentalism and nostalgia that goes with it, the depth. So in a way, we have to give the present day the benefit of the doubt, knowing that if this person who just arrived in our lives, providing they have the right raw materials to be a partner that we need and want, were to be in our lives for another 5 years or 10 or 20, we would build up the same history with them that would make us feel the way about them that we have felt about someone in the past. Number 6, get back to just being interested in people. When it's been a long time since we even connected with somebody, it can make us feel like our person doesn't exist. And that develops a kind of impatience in us where we go on a date and our fuse is shorter and shorter and we are looking for things that are wrong in people and we become judgmental and, you know, people talk to us and very quickly we're like, oh, you just said that thing, you just did that thing, or you're this way, you're not right for me. Here we go again. It makes us resentful of people. And that energy now starts to filter into all of our interactions because we are this heat-seeking missile for the right relationship. We have a sense of what we want. And anytime someone doesn't fit that, we get frustrated with them. Why am I even on a date with you right now? You're clearly wrong for me. You're wasting my time. We have to start to step back a little bit and just get interested in people again without all of that expectation of you have to be the love of my life. Let me just get interested in people. When we come from a frame of being interested and curious in people, not evaluating them for the role of love of my life, but just what do you like as a person? We start developing a generosity of spirit, which is one of the most attractive things that we can have, right? It's a bit like when you go traveling and you're not looking for people to be your friend for life. You're just looking to meet interesting people when you travel. And because you're looking to meet interesting people, there's a kind of generosity of spirit in the way that you ask people questions and get curious about them and have conversations. It might be worth seeing if we can apply a little more of this to our daily lives when it comes to love or life itself. How could I have a little more generosity of spirit that could breed more curiosity about someone, about what's interesting about a person, about what's impressive about the person in front of me, even if they're not right for me? What's unique or interesting or impressive about this person? What's different about this person? And when we do that, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes we might even find ourselves getting surprised at the ways that this person unexpectedly becomes someone that is interesting to us in ways we didn't anticipate. Number 7, expand into new pools of people. There is something about being disappointed and frustrated that makes our lives contract. We make our lives smaller. We start to go into defense mode and we start to shut down. We say, I'm just going to hang out with my friends because that's more rewarding. But in shutting our lives down in this way, we stop expanding our lives into new pools, new communities of people that might actually hold different people than the kinds of people we've been meeting already. This might mean getting out of the bubble of your friendship group. It might mean getting out of the bubble of your place of work or your industry or your neighborhood and into new communities of people that hold lots of interesting and surprising people. It can be fascinating to see how big the world feels when we do this. Instead of concluding that there's no one out there, actually go out there. Make your pool bigger and you'll start to see how many people there really are that could be a potential for your love life. Number 8, when you are searching for love and you're feeling disappointed, but you're looking for the real thing, do not waste a minute on unrequited love. Situations where you have a crush on somebody, where you can't get someone off your mind, but that person rejected you, that person didn't call you back, they never asked you on another date, it fizzled out. Don't waste any time telling yourself that this person is the right person for you. Look, it can be really bruising to our ego when we like someone and they decide that they don't like us back, at least to the same level, or that they don't want something from us. It can be crushing even, but we have to distinguish our ego losing from us losing love. When someone doesn't want us, we are not losing love. It is our ego losing. And that's painful, don't get me wrong. But it's not the same as the tragedy of losing love. And too often we turn an ego death into the death of love and this great story of what could have been. That's where we get ourselves into trouble. Someone who doesn't choose you cannot be right for you. Someone who doesn't see your value cannot be valuable to you. So we have to get into our mind that It's okay for me to feel bruised. It's okay for me to feel in pain because my ego got hurt. But I mustn't tell myself a story that I just lost love. It's a lot easier to get over an ego death than the tragedy of losing love. So tell yourself, the next time I like someone more than they like me, I didn't lose love. I just lost a little face. Number 9, get around people with better stories. Misery in our love lives is contagious. It bonds with other misery, bad beliefs about the people we're trying to attract, whether it's men or women, attract other people with those bad beliefs. Men suck. And then someone else says, men do suck. And you say, we should be friends. Right? When we are in that place of negativity and nothing works and everyone sucks, we get around other people like that. And all we hear is more horror stories. But remind yourself, you are not in the market for horror stories. You are in the market for love. And if you're in the market for love, you need to get around people who believe in it. You need to get around people who like men or who like women. You need to get around people who have a positive story to tell about it. In the same way that if you wanted to start a business, you don't want to be around a bunch of people who tell you it's horrible and you'll never stop working and it makes your life a misery. You want to get around people who actually find the joy in it. You want to get around people who actually get the appeal of it. The same with having kids. If you want to have kids but you're scared, don't get around a bunch of people who tell you it's the most awful experience in the world. Get around people who are like, this has given my life so much meaning, or I've never been more happy, or you know what? Yes, it's hard. Yes, there's sacrifice, but my God, is it worth it? You have to get around people who are telling the story that is productive for you to hear, because there is no one reality. It's not that the bad stories are untrue and the good stories aren't. There are true bad stories, true horror stories, true crime, Audrey. I have a wife who just watches true crime all the time. It's become the story of my life, is psychopaths and sociopaths. But that's a story for another time. There are bad stories that are real, but there are also good stories that are real. So the question for us becomes, which stories serve me more? Who do I need to put myself around for me to stay a believer in this process, to stay a believer in how powerful love and relationships and finding a great teammate can be? Who do I need to be around to still believe in men? Who do I need to be around to still believe in women? Too often in life, people fetishize the bad stories and they enjoy sitting around and talking about them with other people. But do we want the story or do we want love? If you want love, get around better stories. Before we move on to the final part of this video, number 10, I just want to say to everyone out there, I know that the holidays are upon us. I know what a painful and difficult time that is for so many people, especially the people that this video will speak to the most. The holidays are one of the most difficult times for people who are missing love in their lives, who feel lonely, who feel the pang of wanting something that they don't have or that they lost, or people who are in heartbreak. If that's you, I want to send my love to you right now as a community. I want us to collectively love each other. Leave a loving comment in the comment section of this video for someone who needs it. And I also want to let you know that for anyone who needs emotional support over the holidays or to be able to go to someone for advice, Matthew AI is the perfect place that you can go, because you literally have this voice that can speak to you. It will be my voice that can speak to you and help you when you're in a low moment. And the right words at the right time are magic. They can transform our day. So if you haven't tried it yet, go to askmh.com and give it a go. I promise you, if you haven't tried it yet, you really have no idea how much better this can make you feel. So go give it a try now. It's free to try out, so just check it out. All right, number 10. remember that dating is just life. One of the things that we do when we want to find love is we almost start to see dating and looking for love as this compartmentalized part of our life that lives in a box. Like, I'm living my life most of the time and then I have to date. And it's a bit of a strange abstraction and an unnecessary one. It's a little bit like how people who are deep in the world of mindfulness, the real kind of masters in that area, will tell you that at a certain point, although it can be useful to build a ritual, a habit around meditating for a certain amount of time every day, you know, I meditate for 10 minutes a day, and when I'm in those 10 minutes, I'm meditating. They will say that at a certain point, that becomes a weird kind of abstraction, that actually meditation and your life are one and the same. That there's no moment in your life that can't be a meditation, whether it's doing the dishes or going to the gym or having a beautiful conversation with someone. Every moment is an opportunity for meditation. Meditation and life are one and the same. And in some ways, the obsessive focus on meditation being a to-do is part of the thing that works against you in being mindful in life. The same is true in our love life. All of life is an opportunity to approach our day through the lens of openness and curiosity and generosity of spirit towards other people, and a little bravery sprinkled in here and there, and talking to new people, and having a fun flirtation here and there, and just being open and being expansive, putting ourselves in new communities like I talked about. By doing this, we just create possibility. And that possibility isn't something that we say to ourselves, I'm not creating possibility anymore. The possibility is created by the way that we are, not just what we do. And when that possibility gets created, our only job is to be open and curious and to some extent brave enough to follow where it leads, to explore it. And if somewhere along the way, in that expansive and generous approach to life that you take, to adventures and experiences and people, you happen to come across someone who sees this wonderful, expansive person in front of them and wants to keep seeing them, then that will be an incredible bonus. That will mean you finding love as you're living your life. It won't be that you found love because you were obsessively dating. It will be that you found love because you were openly living. So don't separate dating from life. They can be one and the same. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that in the time we've spent together, if you were feeling a little devoid of hope at the beginning of this video, if you were feeling sensitive or bruised by the way that things have been going, or just feeling like you're over it, my hope is that this video can not only make you feel a bit better, but maybe just restore a bit of optimism and a bit of life. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought, and thank you, as always, for spending some time with me. I'll see you next week.
Hello everyone, Matthew Hussey here from Get the Guide. I wanted to stop by with something a little different today. I usually come on these videos and give some advice and some stuff like that, but I wanted to give you something entertaining in its own right today. This is a little story that was sent to me by someone who is on my newsletter, and it just we read it the other day when we were going through some old emails and organising, and it's just had us cracking up. So I wanted to tell it to you so that you could kind of take this on for yourself as well. This is from Anonymous. I'm not going to mention the name. Hi Matthew, I've been on your mailing list for a while now and have really enjoyed your letters and videos. I've grown a lot as a person as a result, and I have been really inspired. Thank you so much. That's not the story, that's just a nice start. I wanted to share a hilarious story with you. Perhaps as a thanks for all your great advice and inspiration. It's been valuable not just for dating but for interacting with people as well. The funny story. Just before a date, I was watching your video on things not to do on a date. I shut my laptop absent-mindedly and had it with me during this date. The guy I was with wanted to look something up on the internet, and so opened my computer. And when it came out of being asleep, what appeared for all to see was your video on what not to do on a date. Found on YouTube if you want to look at it. Ha 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 ha. So you could probably add that one to your list of things not to do on a date. Me and my friends are still simultaneously laughing and cringing. Just thought you might like to have a laugh at my expense. Firstly, how sweet to even send that. Secondly, how beautiful a moment could that be when a guy opens a laptop and sees that. Imagine you going on a date and a guy looking on your laptop and seeing what not to do on a date and my face on the front of it. I thought it was hilarious. And it actually sparked my imagination, because I thought, I love when I hear stories like this, not just because they're funny, but I love when I hear someone not take themselves too seriously. Now, this made me laugh, and it also made me, I've never had the privilege of meeting this woman that sent this, but, I'd like to, because she seems like someone who's fun and who's playful and is not prepared to take herself too seriously. And I think we should all do that. When we are on a date, when we are in our love lives, we shouldn't take the other person too seriously. We certainly shouldn't take ourselves too seriously. So I've got a little bit of an idea going. I want to create a new little series on the blog. Maybe we'll do it once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, we'll see how it goes. But just for ridiculous, horribly embarrassing stories on a date. So I want you to send me any stories that you've got. I'll keep them anonymous for you. If you want me to mention your name, I can, but we'll keep them anonymous, and we'll do like a weekly video where we talk about something ridiculous that happened on a date. Because I want to create this revolution in not taking ourselves so seriously, in just moving forward through life and being prepared to go in guns blazing to make stuff happen, and if something goes wrong, we laugh about it and we crack up together as a team. I like that. It creates kind of a community, and you know what? The best results in our love lives come when we take the big risks. But you can't take the big risks if you're still terrified of something going wrong, or of being embarrassed, someone, tripping over, someone thinking that we've said something stupid. So we have to take the risks, and as part of encouraging everyone to take the risks, I want us to start laughing more at this stuff. So send me your stories. Here's where to send them. matt@gettheguy.co.uk. Okay, so that's matt@gettheguy.co.uk. Send me your story, whether it's from 10 years ago or 10 days ago. Send me your story and we'll have some fun with it. And as I said, I'll keep it anonymous for you. But I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to kind of bring you into it and get you involved. Maybe I'll even throw in a couple of my own stories here and there as we go along the way. Lastly, if you're not on the newsletter, go to the newsletter and sign up. It's at gettheguy.co.uk. Sign up. This is a woman who's had some great success with it, as well as this blunder, and she really enjoys it, and I know you will too. So you can sign up on the homepage at gettheguy.co.uk. Get the free advice, lots of content for you, and let's start creating some of those funny moments. Take care, and I will see you soon. Hello, Matthew Hussey here from gettheguy.co.uk. I'm back again. I'm trying to get out these videos at the moment because I'm trying to do something a bit more, a bit over and above, and people have been responding in an amazing way to the first couple of videos that we've done in the last week or so. So I'm going to try and keep getting these out to you in my schedule and try and have some fun with them too. And I want to continue the theme that we started the other day with dating disasters. I'm thinking of calling this dating drama, this section of the blog. If you have a better name for it, email it in and we'll consider it, okay? For now, it will be called dating drama. If you have a better one, tell me. Before we start, a couple of bits of news. What's going on? I've filmed with MTV this week. For those of you who didn't see the little behind the scenes video, I did that in Madame Tussauds. It was really cool actually. They closed the whole place for us. So we were literally in Madame Tussauds, no one there, walking around, just having a bit of fun with all the celebs in there. It was really, really cool. You'll see that if you want to check it out, go on my blog and you should see a little video there where you can have a look. Other than that, the next date for MTV filming is on the 9th, and that's in Ibiza, so that should be a lot of fun. I'm going out there for a couple of days to film that, and I'll tell you more about the show as we go so that you can kind of keep up to date with it and find out what it's all about. What else? This weekend I have my Women's Weekend programme. A group of women coming to really transform their love lives. That's our intensive programme, it should be amazing. And for those of you who want to come see me live, next Saturday I'm doing my one-day lead-in event. So that's called the Secrets of Attraction. You can find it on the website, Secrets of Attraction. Come see me. You know, if you really want to kickstart your love life and get this handled, come see me there and we'll have some fun. So, dating drama, okay? Since the first video we did, where we talked about the situation last time, if you haven't seen that, go back and watch it, it's really good fun. We've been sent tons of these. Women have really responded well to these. I mean, you can see actually underneath this video, or underneath the last video, we had a ton of Facebook shares, a ton of retweets for these videos. Keep doing that, because we're getting the word out, and women are passing them around and having a lot of fun with them, so I want this to be the same as well. This week's story, I'm going to read it to you. This one cracked us up. These were in no particular order, but this one cracked us up and I thought I'd use it for the second dating drama video. Hey Matt, your videos are really awesome. I've learned a lot from them. The most valuable lesson I learned was not to take dating and relationships as this huge and serious thing in life, but as an exciting challenge. I must admit, I was, and still kind of am, that girl that would analyse a guy before even agreeing to go on a date with him. Needless to say, my dating life pretty much sucked. After I watched your videos and reading your emails, I tweaked my outlook slightly and reaped many rewards. So, I thought I would share my most recent dating story with you. Here we go. I met this guy for coffee, and it was slightly awkward at first. We had that awkward silence moment, and I never respond well to those moments. So I blurted out, "Oh my God, look at that lady. She looks like she should be on a street corner." She had one of these really revealing outfits, one of the most revealing outfits I'd ever seen. His reply, "That's my sister." I went blood red, apologised like a maniac, and left. Now, we read this and we immediately cracked up, but then had to take a step back and ask ourselves that there's a couple of conclusions to draw from this story. One of them is that the guy had his sister on the date. Why was his sister on the date? In fact, why was his sister even in the vicinity of the area? Why was she even there? If he invited his sister on a date, I don't think it matters that you ran. I think that's okay. I think you maybe did yourself a favour. If, on the other hand, which I know many people out there are thinking, she was a little bit hasty, she called someone a prostitute, and then he said, "That's my sister," as a joke, and she then ran off. I want you to imagine this scenario. The guy goes on a date, it's awkward to begin with, there's an awkward silence, she then calls someone a prostitute and leaves, and literally runs off. This literally had been cracking up. I don't know what one it is. If you sent in this email, firstly, thank you, because I think it's gold. Whichever way you look at it, it's complete gold. Tell us if it really was his sister or not, because I thought it was hysterical. The moral of the story, if a date's not going well, pick out someone in the area, preferably a member of his family, and call them a prostitute, then run. Okay? That's the guy's lesson for today. Amazing story, keep sending them in. By the way, just a little tip, because we do stuff on this, we do have content on awkward silences. If you're in an awkward silence, just relax. It takes two people to have an awkward silence, okay? So you don't have to be part of that awkward silence. Sit there, people watch, and then when you're ready, jump back in as if nothing ever happened, okay? That's the quick answer. So, Keep sending me your stories. Keep sending me, these dating drama stories. I love them. I'm going to try and do once a week, maybe on a Friday, like a bit of light relief before the weekend, and hoping that people have dates on Friday and Saturday night, so we can have a bit of light relief that puts you at ease before you go on a date. At least you can think, I can't do anything worse than that. Maybe you can. If you do, send it in. Also, I want to really encourage people to start commenting under these videos and have some fun with it. We're creating like a little bit of a community right now. I'm trying to really put the effort into doing this and just getting people really talking and having fun in their dating lives. We're creating a bit of a revolution into having more fun in our dating lives, taking it less seriously and really taking those steps to take more risks and make more happen. So I'm going to give you a question of the day, and I really want you to answer it in the comments and give me your answer. The question for today is, what's the best date location you've ever had? And let's narrow it down to first dates. So what's the best first date you've ever been on in terms of the location? Where did you go? What was it that you actually did? Leave it in the comments underneath. I'm going to start getting these comments out quicker as well, because I know some of you have been waiting for the comments to actually go up. I'm going to make sure they go up straight away too, and I'm going to try and respond to those comments wherever possible. Thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing me to be your coach, to share these stories with you, and I will see you soon. Take care.
It's that time again. We are going on tour. I'm always so excited about our tours. It's like they bring me to life. It's like I go into hiding. I work from a laptop and behind the scenes, and I run this organization and I'm managing all these people, and then it's like all of a sudden we have a tour and I get to actually go and meet all of the people, the real people that are there supporting us. YouTube is a funny thing. It's a place where in a way you do get to have a dialogue with people, and you do feel like you're accessing people, and it feels somewhat personal, but at the same time, you look at the video and you look at the view count and it's like, oh, there's lots of views, but you don't necessarily see every single one of those as an individual person that watched it. When I actually go out to a live event, I get to see the people who watch our videos. I get to see the people that are participating and writing comments, and it's the best. It's the greatest pleasure I have in my career. I have something for you to celebrate the fact that we are going to go on a new tour. And just for the record, it's a full tour this year, okay? So it's going to be in the fall season. We have a couple of new cities, including Miami and Washington, D.C., as well as returning to some of our classic cities, Chicago, L.A., New York, London. At the end of the video, I'm going to put up all of the dates, and you can go and click on them and find your city that's near you and be a part of this and make your part of it nice and early before the tickets go. We also have some special tickets going this time around that we don't normally have, so be ready for those. The first come, first served on those ones. To celebrate this, I wanted to release a clip from the tour that we did early this year so that you can get a feel for the event and just be a fly on the wall and enjoy the show. So thank you so much. Enjoy the clip. I'll see you on the other side so that I can show you how to get tickets. We have plenty of other excuses, by the way. Age is a wonderful excuse that we use, isn't it? Age, I'm too old, I'm too old, I'm too old. Everyone has that. It's funny because people say all different ages, so I don't know what the objective truth is. But apparently there are people who are too old. They say, no, you don't, Matt, you don't understand. You don't get it. In my age group, there are not many men left. Let's do some maths on this, or as you say, math. Let's say that logic is true, and that there are this many guys to go around this many women. Let's say it's true for a moment. Okay, let me give you another statistic. This many of these women are at home watching The Voice. They are not your competition. This many are going out
but sitting in a corner talking to their friends all night, catching up on the same crap they caught up on last week. Not doing anything, not taking a risk. I know you can relate to this. Going out and basically playing it safe all night or all day. This many are taking risks, but have no idea what they're doing, so come across as creepy and weird. And what you're left with is this tiny little section of women at the top who are actually the women that these guys are divided up between. Ladies, this is not your competition. I did a seminar in Dallas yesterday. And we got into Dallas 2 days early, and me and Jameson, we went out into the town. Yeah. And we were out in this bar, and I looked around, and I thought the same thing about men. When you look around, the people that you think are your competition are not your competition. I look around, I go, these guys, they went out this week, they bought a fancy shirt, cool shirt to go out with at night. They've got their cologne that they sprayed on. This is my sex cologne. They got their fancy car that they bought to impress everybody. Drive up to the venue, let me impress them when I drive in. They spend money on drinks, bottles, tables, all this shit to impress everyone. And then they stand there in the venue, and what do? They try to act like James Bond. They stand there or they walk around like this. And while they stand there acting cool, I go and I talk to people. And I introduce myself and I take risks. And when they take a whole night to meet a single person, I've been able to meet everyone there. These are not my competition. All of these people we think are our competition are not. When you're sitting there mourning just how few women or how few guys there are to women, remember, 95% of women are not your competition. The picture is a lot more optimistic than you might think. Age is not an excuse. And by the way, men want youth more than they want young. So if you can stay youthful, that's the real challenge. Stay youthful. That's the thing that's attractive. All right, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait for the new tour. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be badder. It's going to be even more exciting. If you've been already, come back. Bring your friends, bring your sister, bring your colleagues, bring your mum, bring your aunt, bring your nan. Bring anyone who you think will have a good time. You know as well as I do, if you've been, this isn't just for people who are single. This is for people who are just celebrating their lives, want a great day of growth. Want to focus on what they want out of the next year in terms of their love life and their social life. I mean, this really is something that appeals to people who didn't even think they would get anything out of it. I have women who are dragged by other women to these events, thinking that they're going to have a horrible time, and then when they get there, they actually have a wonderful time. And please don't be disheartened if your city isn't on the list. Jameson, in fact, let's put the cities up now with the dates for everyone. If your city isn't on this list anywhere, please don't rule yourself out. There are so many people that travel to come to these events. When I go to these events, there are people from all over the world who have traveled to be in the event. I think people sometimes have an association that because something is not an expensive event, I mean, to give you an idea, when you click through to the page, and Jameson, let's link that up so that they can click and get tickets, the price of this event is super inexpensive. And I've done that for a reason. I want you to be there. I don't want money to be a barrier. I want you to come and celebrate your life with me for a day. But don't think that because it's cheap, it's not worth traveling to. I have given just as much value in this event as I would of an event that is 10 times
the price. I don't hold back because it's inexpensive. I do that so that more people can come and enjoy this information. But I'm going to be giving everything I possibly can. I pour my heart and soul into these events. So if you're in a different city, find the city nearest to you, and if you can, make the effort, still be there. The money that you would have spent on a more expensive ticket, you can at least spend traveling to get to the event, but get there because you really won't regret it. I understand it's not possible for everybody, and for those of you that can't make it, I celebrate you. I want you to keep coming back to this channel, and I'll keep giving as much as I can in these videos. But if you can get there, even if you have to travel, really try, because it will be a magical day that you will not forget, and I don't say that lightly. So I'm excited. I hope you are excited too. I hope to see a bunch of familiar faces that have been there before, but I hope to see a ton of new faces that have never come out to interact with me and my team in person. It's going to be a wonderful time. So click through on the link, go grab your ticket, and if you get one of those special tickets, you're one of the lucky ones. We've released a few special tickets that we haven't done in that way before. Normally it's just one type of ticket. We actually have two this time around. So go grab your seat now, grab one for everyone you care about, and I will see you at the event.
Last month, we did a really small, socially distanced event for some close fans in the town in which I reside, Los Angeles. We'll call it Matthew's tiny COVID Delta variant show. At least until I come up with a catchier name. This is a clip from that show. Enjoy.
Okay, so a little bit of background. I'm a psychologist. I am finishing up my PhD. I have had such a hard time in relationships. Like, I feel like I know the theories, I've read a lot, but I just really struggle. And it's just...
Which part do you feel you struggle with in particular?
It's really hard for me to feel close to men, and I feel like I also draw people who share too much initially, and then I get really overwhelmed by them romantically.
Why do you think you draw people like that?
I think I'm open, and I think people are like, oh, I can tell you anything. I just feel like I can share so much.
Right.
And I don't know how to so that also brings people who are really problematic or who have a lot of trauma. And I'm here because I'm just what can I do to change that and to
Tell me a little more about the being, because it's an interesting contrast, right? You saying that people, they come forward and they suffocate me with information and oversharing, but you said you find it hard to get close to men. What did you mean when you said that? Or did you just mean that your reaction to the oversharing is to pull back?
It's to pull back, but also to connect, to really build on relationships, to not, whenever I see something wrong, I immediately leave. I don't like to work through things.
I see.
Yes.
Can I just say I have the same problem? And
Yeah.
I was going to mention it because I'm a behavior analyst, and I just had a date the other day, and the guy just told me his whole life story, and I was like, I know I'm a good listener, but kind of scared to right? And then I'm like, no, because then I'm analyzing everything. I'm like, no, why? It's too much, too soon. And then I don't know, just like you, I was like, oh my God, am I the only one? I guess I'm not. No. It's torture. It's no, I don't want to fix you, stop. And it's always the needy guys, and I'm like...
It really is, yeah. And I feel almost, now that I'm finishing my PhD, that almost makes men more intimidated, and they're like, you're a psychologist, or you do this kind of work, absolutely, I can't handle it.
I was saying, because I used to be a hairstylist, so I'm like, should I just say I'm a hairstylist? I'm not analyzing your every move. I don't even know what to say anymore.
When people are intimidating, they're usually not connecting. When we're sitting with someone and we're curious about them, when we're impressed by them, the
being intimidating part tends to dissolve because someone feels like, oh wow, this person thinks I'm impressive, or they think I'm interesting, or they think there's something about me. And it also, man or woman, I'm not talking about women here, man or woman, it's important, I believe, we tend to lead with the weapon we're most comfortable wielding. Right? We all have our weapon of choice. Think for a moment, everyone in this room, what your favorite weapon, the sword you feel best swinging is. Right? Everyone's got it. For some women, it's like being ultra sexy. That's the sword they wield. And then that person comes to me and says, you know, men only see me in one way. And we unpack often the fact that this weapon they're wielding is A, attracting a certain kind of person, and B, actually stopping people from seeing what else is there. When people are intellectual, or they've done, you know, they've been to an amazing college, or they've had, then that tends to be the weapon that they're most comfortable wielding. So they'll often walk into situations armed up as the intellect. My suspicion is that you're using the weapon that's comfortable to you, which may be deep conversation.
Yes.
And then when they meet you there and say, okay, deep conversation mode, you keep asking questions because you go, well, at least we're talking. I guess we're talking. I guess we're connecting. So another question, another question, another question. And then at the end of it, you go, why are they telling me so much information? But it's not, it's because it's not all your fault. It's just that you're comfortable letting it unfold that way. And what I need you to do is take a risk to lead it a different way. And in dating, there always has to be a first mover of some kind, right? There always has to be someone who just takes the little step in that direction. Like, it's that first time you're, you know, around someone you thought was a friend, and they tell you look good in a way that a friend doesn't. And they just reached out a little bit. And then when you take a step forward, you're doing the same, and they get validated, and they go, that was nice, that worked. Okay, I'll do a little bit more. I have finished entire dates where I had no idea the woman I was on a date with actually found me sexually attractive. No idea. I knew she thought I was a decent human being. I knew that. But that's not what makes us call each other, is it? We don't go home to our friends and go, you know, I'm so excited to see this person again. They are such a decent human being. What gets us to call, man or woman, is when we have that beautiful combination of connection and chemistry. We'll even call if there's just chemistry. We'll fuck up our lives on just chemistry. But we won't do it if there's just connection. It doesn't work the other way around. Most of us won't do it on just connection. It doesn't give us that fuel that makes us want to pick up the phone. Oh, I got to call this person. I got to call them. It doesn't make us do that. I finished entire dates where I didn't know if someone found me hot. Not found me attractive, that's different. Attractive isn't even quite it, you know? Hot. And then I wake up the next day and I say, well, that was really nice. We had good conversation, but I don't know. It didn't make me want to pick up the phone. And I was attracted to that person. The reason I went on the date is because I thought they were really attractive. I went because I thought they were attractive, but I didn't finish with any electricity. So there was nothing charging the next stage. And then a day later, I get a text. Last night was really fun. I'd love to see you again. And I'm like, what? I've had that experience where you go, were we on the same date? How do you feel? So you like me. Someone shouldn't be surprised to hear you like them. That shouldn't come as like a piece of a revelation. Oh my God, she actually likes me. I'm not saying you have to spend a date doting over someone. That would be bad too. But just a moment, a glimmer where someone realizes, oh, we're not friends. And we're not gonna be friends. That's sexy. When you feel that, okay, I get it, we're not friends. Okay, now let's keep talking. Now you keep talking about all the other cool stuff, but there's a subtext. The problem is when you're on a date and you're talking about all of that stuff, but there's no subtext. Now you're just in conversation. So, biggest advice for you, for anyone, for all of us, what's the weapon I am most comfortable wielding, and how is that weapon hurting me? How is it hurting me? What new weapon do I want to start sharpening and bringing out, even slowly, in small ways? But I promise you, you bring out a different, you just brandish a different weapon for a moment, and you'll start getting different reactions. And the reactions may sometimes be what you want, they may not, but the different reaction will give you hope. Because you'll be like, oh, this is great because it's not the groove I was in. It shows I can have an effect on the environment. I can have an effect on the situation. I'm not just a passenger on a date. I am someone who can actually lead the dance, even if it doesn't look like I'm doing anything at all. Thank you. Great question.
Before you swan off into your life today, doing whatever it is you do when you don't live here with me, I have something you might be interested in. Did you know that I have a club, a group of people that every month I work with, not just on their love lives, but on their love for life, on their relationship with themselves, on their relationship with life itself. It is like a gym for your psychology, your emotions, and your confidence. And it goes way deeper than we can here in a 5 or 10-minute video. And I get the chance to live coach people, to answer questions, to do live demonstrations. If you haven't tried it yet, there's a 14-day free trial so that you can join risk-free and decide after a couple of sessions if you want to continue. To come and join, go to askmh.com and I will see you over there.
Stay till the end of this video, no matter what else you do, because I have something very special to announce at the end of it that I have never, ever done before, and it is going to change the game on your confidence. Well, we did a video last week, and I asked you to leave a comment. I said, here's the comment I'd love you to leave me. What is the thing that you feel is holding you back from being the most confident version of yourself? Here's what you wrote. The thing that's holding me back from being the most confident version of myself is the fact that every relationship that I have had in the last several years, mostly short term, ended with the person leaving me. Chronic health problems. Most guys wouldn't want to deal with them or have the maturity to embrace me with them. Yesterday, I had a realization my crush may not be as interested in me as I am in him. The thing that makes me insecure is my age. I'm almost in the mid-30s. Me too, Stephen. And seeing all of the other friends married or have partners in life makes me feel bad for myself and worthless. Well, I suppose part of the link between all of these things is that
There is a universality to insecurity, to having our confidence knocked at different stages of our life. I mean, that's the thing about confidence, isn't it? You can have had it at one stage. You can relate maybe to a moment in your life where you felt confident, and then something happened in your life that knocked you, and now you're trying to get it back. Or maybe you never felt as confident as other people, and you're wondering, what is this confidence thing people have? What even is confidence? Confidence is defined literally as a feeling of certainty about the truth of something. And when we look at that idea of certainty, I mean, there's your problem, right? We don't feel certain about an awful lot in our lives. And that's why even when our lives appear on the surface to be going right, we can still not feel confident. Confidence itself exists independently of the good and bad things in our lives. If you don't consider yourself to be confident in dating, I'll bet you that that lack of confidence follows you through every stage of the process. Right now, you might be trying to meet someone and you might not feel confident in that. You may be wondering, am I ever going to meet someone? I never meet anyone I like. I'm messaging someone on an app. They didn't message me the last 2 days. Now I feel rejected. Or it's never materializing into a date, and that's making me feel like I'm hopeless, that I'm not worthy of a date. Maybe you get on a date with an attractive person and you think, here we go, I should feel confident now because I'm actually on a date with an attractive person. Only now a new insecurity creeps in. I'm not good enough for this person. Or you look at other pretty people in the restaurant and think, they've got something I haven't, they're prettier than me. My date is more busy looking at them than he is looking at me. Or maybe you get off of that date and into seeing each other and you think, well, I should be confident now, right? We're seeing each other, we're regularly sleeping together and having a great time, and it seems to be in a good place. Only now your insecurity is the fact that you're going into people pleaser mode and you keep going out of your way to do everything for this person. You see them in their part of town, you see them on their watch, their schedule. You feel like you're doing everything to make them happy, but they're not trying as hard. Am I not worthy of this person trying as hard? But you don't say anything because you don't feel confident enough to ask for what you really want. The lack of confidence follows us to every stage. Well, if you get in a relationship with that person, you should feel confident now, right? You've got the person, you're in a relationship. Only now you feel like you're not good enough to keep that person. How will I ever hold this person? I'm not good enough for them. Secretly, I know that, and they know that. One day they're going to wake up and they're going to realize they can get someone better than me, more successful, wittier, funnier, prettier, younger. And that plagues you even within what could or even should be a happy relationship. And so what do we do in order to be more confident? We build up all these stocks in different areas of our lives. We try and fix things, don't we? Let me get the best body I can because that will make me feel confident. Let me get the best job I can because that will make me feel important. Let me put some money in the bank because that will make me feel confident in my financial security. Let me make myself as pretty as possible because confidence lies on the other side of that. Let me get into a relationship because that will make me finally feel okay. Except in truth, none of these things really work. If confidence lay on the other side of a great body, a relationship, a great job, then there would be confident people everywhere. But it doesn't. That's the first problem with putting our confidence in these things, is that they're volatile. They're volatile stocks. It's like building a house on quicksand. You're only as good as that thing staying the same. The problems with putting our confidence in those stocks is always highlighted when something in life happens to remind us that that thing can change and that we've got too much of our self-worth wrapped up in it. A few weeks ago, I got a sty. Right? Really puffed up my eye, made it look a mess. Immediately I was like, I don't want to do a video today. Even this week, I don't want to do a video. And it was annoying, it was uncomfortable. And it was like just this little reminder, oh yeah, look at, you think you're confident, but just this little thing can throw you off right now. That's a nice reminder. And that's natural, that's human, right? It happens to the best of us. But in that moment, it's a nice little signal to reorient where we're placing our value, where we're placing our confidence. Are we placing it in things that can just be taken away from us? Hence why these things don't work, because we're trying to find certainty in things that are inherently uncertain and changeable. But the second problem is that even if those things are going well, it still doesn't guarantee confidence. You know, I was told by a Premiership footballer from decades ago who once won the Golden Boot, meaning they scored the most goals out of any player in the Premiership League that season. He said the next season after winning the Golden Boot, you'd think, amazing, right? Won the Golden Boot, riding on a high. He said the next season was the worst season of my career because I could never live up to that. The best I could do was live up to that. Right? And that was literally the best I could do. More likely is I would fail. I wouldn't live up to my last season. So even when we're winning, that doesn't guarantee confidence. A lack of confidence or an insecurity follows us to the top. And of course, when we put our value in these stocks, am I as pretty as that person? Am I as successful as that person? Am I as intelligent or witty as that person? When we put our value in these stocks, we start to invite comparison because we compare our stocks with other people's stocks. And now we're in a dating game of top trumps where we're just a series of playing cards being drawn against each other. And you're always afraid that you're going to be drawn against someone who's scoring higher in all of the major categories: money, success, looks, you know, all of these things that we look at and go, those are objective measures of how attractive and confident someone should be. I remember when I was starting out in my career, I was about 18, I wanted to be great at public speaking, having this thought that, you know, Tony Robbins was this incredible public speaker who could captivate thousands of people in an audience at a time. And I remember having the insecurity that, well, no matter how good I get, I'll never be as persuasive or as powerful on stage as Tony Robbins because of his sheer physical presence, the height of him, the breadth of him. This is a giant man, literally. I'll never be that. I'll never have that no matter how hard I work. And therefore, maybe I'll never command the stage the way that he does. What's dangerous about that comparison is we try and emulate somebody else in a way that can have us drifting further and further from our true nature. But what's more insidious about that kind of comparison is that we end up discounting and often ignoring completely what works about us. Thank God I didn't get stuck on that thought about not being as tall as Tony Robbins, who is, by the way, because, of course, the reason that people connect with me is specific to me and to my relationship with people, to something that people connect with in my energy, dare I say, my essence. And I think essence is a very interesting word because have you ever walked past a couple and secretly thought to yourself, one of the couple seemed a lot more attractive, and there was that part of you, that terrible part of you that thought, how did he or she get him or her? But the truth is, we don't know the essence of that person that attracted the person next to them. We don't know what that is. If it were all about the metrics, then you'd look at someone on Instagram who appears to be scoring high in all of the metrics, and that would be enough. Except you get on a date with someone who scores high in a bunch of metrics, and then you just go to yourself, something's off. Something feels off about this person. I don't know what it is. On paper, it should all be right, and yet something doesn't feel right because you didn't connect to their essence. And someone can not score high in those categories that we all think we need, but there's something about their essence. There's something about the way they are, the way they carry themselves, the outlook they have, the energy they bring, that it becomes very compelling about that person. And I think one of the most powerful things we can do in life is get to know more about our essence, get to know more about what works about us. I'm not saying that getting better at things in life is not a worthwhile task, that working on your body, working on your career, getting good at skills, doing things isn't going to in some way improve your life. It certainly can. And it can even give you a certain type of confidence. It can give you a kind of localized confidence in an area, a confidence that arises from competence in something. But that doesn't mean deeper confidence, because of course those things can go away, life changes, and we'll often find that we look at people in life who appear to be very confident, and then a change in their circumstances means the complete erosion of their confidence, because it's based on circumstances. It's not based on something deeper, sturdier, more rooted. The two pieces of advice that I can impart about this that I use for my life is, number one, since you know empirically from your life that achieving something, getting to a certain metric, getting what you thought you wanted doesn't change all of your confidence issues, doesn't eradicate every insecurity, you can almost adopt a bit more of a fatalistic approach to your confidence. Instead of saying, I'll be confident when, say to yourself, there's no guarantee I will be confident when. So if that's true, I may as well have a bit more of a fuck it attitude now. Instead of waiting for a feeling you're going to get later, enjoy the feeling now and say, listen, I'm going to get better at something because it's worth getting better at it. I'm going to try and achieve that because there's benefits in my life from achieving this. But if I know I'm going to feel the same way at the end of it anyway, or if I know that there's no guarantee that I'll have eradicated my insecurities by getting there, then I may as well have more of a sense of abandon right now and just say, screw it, I'm going to enjoy this. And number two, focus on understanding more and paying attention to what your essence is. I know that sounds heady, but to spend time figuring out, an easier way of saying it is just what works about you. What is your special magic as a person? And sometimes the clues are in the kinds of things that the people we love say to us. When we get our best qualities reflected back, or discovering what it is we mean to people and why. I've had the benefit of hearing these things in the course of my career, even in the comments. You guys tell me what works about me and why you follow me. And that has been incredibly useful to me, because it's shown me that while I was trying to be good enough in all of these areas over here, my essence was already doing the work over here. All I needed to do was show more of it. And that's the really insidious thing about insecurity, is that it hides our essence. It stops us from leaning into what already works about us while we're trying to replicate what works about somebody else. And the most beautiful thing about your essence, about your special magic, is that it doesn't need any of those external wins to exist. You know, for me, my essence is my essence, whether there's 1 million people subscribed to my channel or 100. It doesn't matter how well I'm doing in the scorecard of life. That thing I take with me everywhere. And it's about leaning into that as much as possible. Now, if you're watching this video and you want to develop this mindset for yourself, because you don't want to be reliant on things going well in your life for your confidence, and you also know it hasn't worked in the past. No matter how many things you do, you never seem to feel more confident internally. They all just become more and more masks that you wear to hide your insecurities. I have something I want you to be a part of. I have something very special happening on the 9th of June that I would like to invite you to. It won't cost you a penny, but you just need to sign up. And it's very special because it's part of a collaboration and a partnership that is a first for me. I am partnering with Charlotte Tilbury, the world-renowned beauty expert, to run a confidence masterclass for her audience and my audience on June the 9th, where we are going to be over a 90-minute masterclass breaking down the ways that you can practically be more confident in your life. Charlotte's speciality is working on people's confidence from the outside in. And mine is working on people's confidence from the inside out. And none of this masterclass is going to be about giving you something you don't have. It's going to be about taking what you do have, your essence, what works about you, and dialing it up to a whole new level. The nastiest thing about insecurity is that it masks our essence. It has us hiding. It has us in the pursuit and the obsession of things we are not. It has us ignoring the magic that we are, the magic that we have already. So I'm not giving you that essence here. I'm not giving you that magic. What Charlotte and I are going to be doing with you on the 9th of June is taking what you already have and having you lean into it and double down on that and amplify it for the world to see, because that will be enough. All you need to do to sign up for this masterclass is go to mhandct.com. That's our initials, mhandct.com. When you go there, you'll have a chance to register. You'll get an email with all of the details. But like I said, mark your diary right now so that you do not miss this, because the people that show up are also going to get a couple of special surprises. So make sure you mark your diary, June the 9th, and register. If you don't register, you won't get the invite. Go to mhandct.com and I will see you along with Charlotte Tilbury on June the 9th. We cannot wait. We'll see you there.
Welcome to another one of my videos. Today, we're going to be talking about the confusing things that men say, but men, before in the comments, you say that women are confusing too. Maybe we'll do a future episode on the confusing things that women say. But we did put out the word on my Instagram at the Matthew Hussey, for those of you who aren't following me yet. We put out a word and said, what's something confusing a man has said to you? So we're going to read you some of these things today. In fact, the wonderful Audrey is going to read us some of these things, and I am going to be attempting to dissect them, which Lord knows isn't easy. All right, let's go. What's the first one?
You're the kind of girl you marry, not the kind of girl you date.
Well, it's flattering you, isn't it? Firstly, it's saying there are qualities about you that one would look for in a long-term partner, but it's also kind of I don't know. I don't know what he said after that, but I feel like I'm not the only one in the room who thinks that that came with some kind of excuse about him not being ready. When you say, no, you're the kind of person you marry, not the kind of person you date, that to me is a way of saying, and I'm the kind of person who's only willing to date right now, and therefore I can't proceed with you. It might also, if I'm being really honest, be a kind of cue that this person isn't sexually attracted. You have wonderful qualities, but I don't feel that chemistry with you. Otherwise, I'd be trying to jump you right now.
Number 2, we have, I like you too much to be with you.
I like you too much to be with you. So, I like you too much to be with you. That says to me, I am absolutely 100% going to hurt you. I like you too much to be with you is a way of saying, I'm not really looking for anything serious, so I'm not going to invest in you in any real way, but I do like you. I like you enough that, we should probably keep having sex, but I don't want to go any further than that with you. But it's also, again, notice the pattern here, the flattery. I like you too much to be with you. Notice it's flattery, but it's confusing flattery. If you think about it, it's quite clever because it says, I'm flattering you, I'm dazzling you with a compliment at the same time as telling you that I can't give you any more than I'm giving you right now. So I'm simultaneously piquing your interest and giving you a reason to keep trying with me while excusing myself from trying at all with you.
Number 3, we have, I haven't loved you these past 2 years. I was lying to both of us. They then ended things, and 2 weeks later he came back and said, I need you in my life. I love you. Let's try again.
Okay. Well, that's
That to me is, I used the analogy recently of he jumped ship. He decided that this ship wasn't one that he wanted to be on anymore. Maybe he hadn't wanted to be on it for a long time, but he finally got up the courage to leave. Maybe he'd never felt the way he really wanted to feel deep down. Or maybe, he's confused about what love actually is. And there's this grass is greener scenario where he thinks that there's some elusive feeling out there that he doesn't feel in here. And so he jumped ship, and then he realized he couldn't swim. Now, it might be that he thought that another boat was going to come by and it was going to be a better boat. And there were a bunch of boats that came by, but none of them felt better. None of them felt like the thing he was looking for. There was some rusty tugboat that came along and he thought, I don't want to get on that. There's a boat full of pirates. Or maybe it was just open water and he just found himself treading water, but he realized, I'm not a strong enough swimmer to do this. Because of course, when we leave a relationship, we have to learn how to swim. Other than just jumping on another boat, which usually isn't a good idea, we have to learn how to swim, how to be okay on our own. And I think he realized, he panicked. I think he got in the water. It was a bit cold. And I think his legs got a bit tired. And he thought, oh no, I can't do this. And I don't think he went back out of love. I think he went back out of fear and told you it was love. The problem with what he said is he said, for 2 years, I've been lying to you and myself. So now you've got in your head that for 2 years, you've not been living the same reality as me. How do you recover from that in 2 weeks? Has he done all the healing necessary in the space of 2 weeks? I don't think so. I think he panicked. I think nothing has changed on his side. And someone like that, if they are let back in, should be let back in incredibly slowly.
Number 4, let's just take it day by day.
Let's just take it day by day. Well, look, firstly, that's the sort of thing that sounds completely rational. It sounds like the voice of reason at the very beginning of dating. If someone at the end of a date 2 said, so what are we? You might be justified in saying, let's just take it day by day for now and see where we are in a few dates. We've only been on 2 dates. That would be a reasonable thing to say. But if at the point where you are starting to, there's this sort of expectation that you behave like a girlfriend, and that means seeing them regularly, it means comforting them on bad days, it means coming over on a sick day and bringing this person soup, it means meeting each other's friends or family, it means being involved on a consistent basis in each other's lives. And when you try to ask where this is going, that person says, let's just take it day by day. That is someone who wants you very much to live in the present, because the present is all they can offer you. They are not looking for a relationship, they are looking for an experience.
Number 5, we aren't really dating.
We're not really dating. We're not? I thought we were dating. We're not really dating. I mean, that means what you and I are doing is we are exchanging messages with the goal of being in the same room at the same time where we can take our clothes off. Dating means it's progressing. Dating means that there's some intention behind this. There's no intention behind, oh God, no, there's no intention behind this. This is just you and me getting to a place, getting to a room where it's appropriate for us to take our clothes off.
Number 6, you're too independent.
You're too independent. That says to me, I am used to feeling important by being with someone who is in need, whether it's financially, whether it's psychologically, they've got some kind of issue or challenge in their life. And I have some kind of power by what I can give. And that's what makes me feel important. That's what feeds my ego. That's what makes me feel safe and indispensable. And the fact that you have your shit together, the fact that you don't seem to need me, the fact that you have things going on in your life means that I don't have my ego fed in that way. And I don't know how to get my significance from a more nutritional internal source. And therefore, I'm worried that because I have no power over you in the way that I'm used to, I don't have leverage over you in the way that I'm used to, that I am leavable, that I am dispensable. And that makes me feel unsafe. And therefore, the stakes feel too high in this situation. I need to go to a place where I can feel important and powerful again.
Number 7. I can't get away with bullshit with you. You're too smart.
Firstly, I think it's hilarious that this person has admitted in this sentence that they're a bullshitter in the first place. How low does he think or assume her standards are that she's going to be interested by the end of this sentence, having just expressed that his normal MO is to bullshit people? And it's also a great kind of way of saying you're in control when she's not really in control. It's a way of pandering. Look how smart you are. I can't even get away with my bullshit with you. But it's a way of making her feel like, you know, he's naked in front of her, when in fact, of course, there will be so much more bullshit she doesn't know about. But it's a way of saying, look at you, you've got me all figured out, while over here, I continue to bullshit you. Number 8.
I can't give you a title, but I act like your boyfriend. Aren't actions enough for you?
You know, we used to say all the time, and I still believe this, watch someone's actions, not their words. If someone treats you really badly all the time, but says, I love you, their actions are what matter. You say you love me, but you treat me horribly. That's what matters. But there is an addendum to that. When someone is giving you the treatment you think you want, but their words say something undesirable, especially if that undesirable thing they're saying should hurt their chances of getting a good result with you, you should believe that thing. And what he's said falls into that latter category. He said, I can't give you a title, but I act like your boyfriend. Aren't actions enough for you? This is him playing on the logic that actions mean more than words. But in this case, his words mean everything, because his words give away his true intentions. If someone says to you, I don't want to give us a title, well, that might upset you. That might even drive you away. And if I say something that could upset you or drive you away, but I've said it anyway, then that thing is much more likely to be true. That thing is much more likely to be trustworthy, because what motive could I have for saying it other than that I feel like I need to? When this person says, I don't want to give us a title, what they're saying is, I want to experience being in a relationship, but I don't want any of the commitment of being in one. And I want to make sure that I can leave this easily at any time, because I don't actually want anything with you in the future. At worst, I want to be able to sleep with other people. And I think by not giving us a title, I can still do that. At best, I'm being monogamous with you, but I have a deep-seated aversion to any real commitment or any real idea of building something. So I am liable to hurt you down the line when I realize that this is all too much. So this is one of those rare instances where you have to pay attention to exactly what they're saying, because what they're saying is inconvenient for them to say. It doesn't help their chances of winning you over. It doesn't make them more likable. It doesn't increase the odds of them having sex with you tonight or you still being around a month from now. It could actually push you away. And if someone is saying something that is to their own detriment and inconvenience, that thing is actually much more likely to be true.
And last but not least, we have the old faithful, it's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. A lot of the things we've heard today are kind of in that vein. It's not you, it's me. I'm complicated. There's something going on with me. When you create that impression, the person goes, well, if there's nothing wrong with me, then you must like me. And if you like me, then there's hope. And if there's something going on with you, then we can fix that. Then it's not you, it's me logic can actually get us trapped in a cycle of trying with someone we shouldn't be trying with. Anytime someone acts really complicated, for good or bad reason, remember that for the worst kinds of people, or even just for the kind of lightly manipulative people, or the people that are just kind of selfish, being complicated actually works. Because if I think you're amazing, you're just so great, I just can't. You're perfect. You're marriage material. You're incredible. I like you so much. I just can't because of blah, blah, blah. Complication, complication, complication. Remember that people who give you complications, people who confuse you, they are achieving something very often with that confusion. It's a bit like if I give you a riddle, you're so distracted by the riddle and how to figure that out, how to get past this confusion that I'm feeling, or this hurt that I've been through in my life, or these complications in my feelings. If you're busy with that, then you're not paying attention to how little I'm actually giving you. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they're trying to achieve. Let me distract you from how little I'm giving you by giving you this complicated scenario that your mind is now going to go to work on. We have to always remember this, and I've said it many times. Someone will give you their reasons. You need to stick to your reality. And if your reality is that this person isn't committing, they're not giving you very much, they're not showing up for you, they're confusing you constantly, that's your reality. Regardless of whether their reasons for being confusing and complicated are malicious or sympathetic, it doesn't change your reality. Before you go, I have something very cool to tell you about. Some of you know that I have a program called the Momentum Texts. Some of you also know that program is only $7. So on any day of the year, everyone should get this program. But there is a special reason to get it right now. Over the holidays, we are doing a special where not only are you getting the Momentum Texts, which is a program that shows you how to get your casual interactions to take a more serious turn so that you stop the endless cycle of casual dating, but it comes with 4 special bonuses right now, which are all audios that I've recorded to help you in situations where you need the most support. So one of those situations is when you're anxiously waiting for a text from someone and it's ruining the peace in your day. You'll be able to listen to me in your ears, talking you through that moment so that you can get back to a confident mindset and give yourself peace again. Another audio I've got is to help you feel confident. Another one is to stop you from texting an ex in the very moment where you're about to text someone you shouldn't be texting. And the last one is an audio you can listen to when you feel like you've sent the wrong thing or said the wrong thing and you're beating yourself up and getting yourself into an anxious state as a result. They're really cool. They're really practical. They're like these beautiful, empowering meditations that you can listen to when you need them the most. And they only are available with the holiday special of the Momentum Texts. It's only available for a few days. Go check it out now at momentumtexts.com. And I'll see you next time.